Welcome to Arbor Day. This week is Arbor Week in San Francisco. 5 years in a row we've been celebrating, and I want to thank everyone for coming out today. Over 5 years ago, it was recognized that we had fewer trees per capita than other cities in San Francisco. The mayor, Mayor Gavin Newsom, had the foresight and vision to recognize that this shortcoming and said we must do something about our trees in the city. At that time, the mayor set an ambitious goal of 25,000 trees to be planted over the next 5 years. These trees improve the quality of our air, help manage stormwater, reduce runoff, take up of carbon dioxide, so essential to the future of our planet and this age of global climate change. DPW led the charge with many partners to achieve the goal. I want to personally thank the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, the Department of Environment, the Recreation and Parks Department, the Friends of the Urban Forest, the San Francisco School District, many nonprofits, the greater San Francisco community, along with DPW staff from all bureaus of DPW, especially the Bureau of Urban Forestry, Liz Lerma, Sandy Quadra, Carla Short, Zach Taylor, and all the staff in that bureau who have worked tirelessly to ensure that these trees and this mission has been accomplished. Every day they make sure that those trees are weeded, they get watered, and to ensure their long-term survival. Of course, one should recognize that the city accomplished this goal only by all of us working hand in hand together. As many people have said, San Francisco is a city that can get things done, and sure enough, we did surpass the goal that was set for us. Please join me in giving our mayor a big hand for his vision and leadership in ensuring that we accomplish this goal. Mayor Gavin Newsom.
Thanks, Mohammed, and thank you, all of you. This has been a year since we planted the tree in Western Addition.
1 year, Mr. Mayor.
Unbelievable. It's we were down. It seemed like 6 months ago we were down at Cesar Chavez down on Army Street doing a similar planting. It's remarkable how quickly the years go by. But I'm very pleased to be here now at that point where we can say confidently and proudly and quite deliberatively that we have not, as was just stated, met our goal, but we have exceeded our goal of planting 26,408 trees in the city and county of San Francisco. So eat your heart out, 25,000. We're very proud of that for a number of reasons. We have about 130,000 street trees in the city. So this is not an insignificant increase when you look at the total number of street trees in the city. That's why this goal in 2004, the Trees for Tomorrow strategy and campaign, was ambitious. You've heard larger goals, though. I listen to mayors around the country, and I watch their websites, and I read about it, and they have these million tree goals. And I think, well, what the heck? How are they doing a million, and we're just doing 25,000 in 5 years? Until you read the fine print. And you realize invariably in each and every one of those cases what they mean by a tree and what we mean by a tree are completely different. They're handing out seeds, literally packets of seeds, and they're calling those 1,500 trees in every package of seeds, assuming that every seed becomes a tree. Or in some cases, in the best cases, they're handing out very small saplings that may or may not survive, and they're calling that a tree. What we're doing is we're planting these trees right behind me. These are real trees. These are more mature trees. They, I know, don't all look like this tree, this extraordinary pear tree, but they certainly look a lot more like the trees you see up and down the block, and certainly out as recently with the work that was done, or in recent work that's been done down in Sunset Boulevard. You see the quality of the trees we're planting. So for me, this again is very meaningful, and I'm very proud of the incredible work of Mohammed's team and Ed Reeskin's team, to the partnerships that have been formed with Jared and the Department of Environment, and now Jared Bloomfeld at the Recreation and Parks Department, to the ongoing and extraordinary support of the Public Utilities Commission, led by Ed Harrington, and their ongoing contributions to all the various city agencies that are stepping up and stepping in to help support this cause, including, incidentally, the teachers, supporting our principals, supporting our administrators, supporting our school districts, supporting our school board with their goal of 2,012 trees by 2012. That's an easy one to remember, and that will certainly help initiate even further our ambitious goals. We also recognize the importance of maintenance, and the big critique of our planting has come remarkably from people that say, why are you planting new trees when you can't take care of your old trees? And why are we wasting all this money when we should be putting the money into maintenance exclusively? And arguably that was the reason we didn't plant that many trees over the last quarter of century, because it was always the excuse. And we felt that we first need to make the case for why trees are important. Muhammad did in terms of the stormwater runoff, in terms of the environmental benefits, but also the public safety benefits. I mean, look at where we are. And think about, you've all driven right here. This is not a very safe thoroughfare, this South Van Ness area going into the city, coming off the freeway. What we're doing is softening the edges of our city as well. And you see study after study after study. Astrid Hayardi, who's really leading our greening efforts, she comes from Chicago. The University of Chicago did some very comprehensive landmark surveys about tree planting reducing crime, not just traffic congestion and pedestrian safety enhancements, but also providing an increase in property values in and around the areas that the trees were planted. So from the environment, from a fiscal perspective, etc., trees make a lot of sense. And they bring out the kids who we see here, and I'm very thankful that all children took the time to be here. Kids love trees for some reason. Adults tend to take trees down and cut them and then build things with them. But I like that quality of imagination of our youth that has inspired all these efforts. I want to thank AAA. I want to thank NorCal. I want to thank Walgreens, especially Walgreens, because we always beat them up on plastic bag bans and cigarette bans. I got another one, Walgreens. Sorry, comes out in 2 weeks. But don't worry, it's all good. But we love Walgreens. I shop there. We embrace you. My friends at Local 261, my favorite labor union. Everyone at 261 knows that. We thank our laborers for all their support. That's, by the way, the labor union that stepped up last year to give wage concessions to keep some of our rec centers open and to keep our health clinics open. These are the lowest paid employees in our city, and they stepped up to give wage concessions last year to keep those clinics and those community centers open. So that's when I say my favorite. These guys have always led by example, and there they are again supporting this effort. I want to thank Clear Channel for that big billboard. I don't love billboards, but I like that billboard. And I thank Clear Channel for allowing us to use one of their top billboards, again, an entry billboard into the city, and promote this effort. And I'll close with that. We now want to promote more volunteerism and more support to the point of maintenance, to get people to be engaged. We are hoping to plant 400 trees this Saturday down in the Sunset. And so we're still looking for volunteers. So we want to encourage you to call 311 or visit us, as the billboard says, at sfarborday.org, sfarborday.org, or call 311 and learn how you can volunteer to beautify your city and to continue the work that we are advancing here today. I'll let others talk about Dr. Ellen Wolf, but we are going to be planting this tree on behalf of the extraordinary contribution of Ellen, particularly on behalf of our children, our youth, and our families. And I couldn't imagine a more beautiful tree. And they'll talk more about why this tree and what it represents and what Ellen's contribution is represented to our city. But this is something, a tradition we also started a few years back that I'm very proud of, to recognize and honor some of our city heroes for their contributions with something that represents their life and their legacy. And that is not just something that is etched in stone, but something that literally is alive and growing. And we think that's a very important spirit of what we're doing as well. So again, thank you all very much for coming out. I'm very proud of the great work that everybody did. Astrid, keep it up. We know we need more green, more median strips like this. more planter boxes, more flowers. We're still not there, but we're getting closer every single day. And don't let this recession fool you. We're not going to back off on our commitment to beautify this city. Thank you all very much for coming out today.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As a result of our mayor's vision, DPW, through the leadership of our director, is now working with our many partners to make sure that these trees are preserved and protected. Whether it's on new construction projects, neglect of trees, or vandalism, there are many threats to our new trees and our urban forests that desperately need much better protection. These trees, as the mayor said, are the foundation of the green infrastructure of our city, which maintaining them and protecting them is our biggest challenge at this time. It does not make sense to plant young trees and not have the resources to care for them. So we must work all together to take care of these trees. And leading that charge is Director Ed Riskin, who I would like to come up and say a few words.
Thank you. I had a number of things I wanted to talk about this morning, but the mayor pretty much covered them all. So I'm just going to put this away.
Caltrans. Make sure we thank Caltrans.
Yeah, we have a bunch of partners to thank, which I think Astrid, our greening director, is going to have the pleasure of doing. And it's okay for the mayor to steal my points because he is the boss after all. But I do just want to highlight a few things. One, I'm not sure if he introduced himself, although most people know him. Our MC today is Mohammed Nuru, the Deputy Director of Public Works, in charge of the operations of the Department of Public Works. And while the mayor brought the vision for Trees for Tomorrow, 25,000 trees in 5 years, Mohammed was the guy on the ground who worked with all these partners to make it happen. So it's really exemplary leadership on his part that got us to not just meet but also exceed the goal. All I would say in addition with regard to maintenance, we view trees and the greenery and the landscaping as part of the city's infrastructure. And it's the one part of the city's infrastructure, I would argue, that actually appreciates in value as time goes on, whereas the rest of it depreciates. And we consider it infrastructure because it provides all of the services that both Mohammed and the mayor referenced in terms of environmental benefit, economic benefit, some would argue psychological benefit, public safety benefit. So it's really an integral part of our infrastructure. And as such, as with any infrastructure, it requires maintenance. It needs to be maintained. It needs resources to maintain it. Fortunately, both the mayor and the Board of Supervisors get that, and they have funded infrastructure maintenance, not just for our roadways, but for our trees and our landscape, and we're grateful for that. But we have, as the mayor said, we're not stopping here. As we add more, our maintenance needs grow, and we have a big maintenance backlog. So we do invite anyone, not just the folks that the mayor acknowledged who've already chipped in, but any members of the community, of the public, to help not only as volunteers, but we have an opportunity for you to help financially. We have an Adopt a Tree fund, which is a way for you, if you don't have a place to plant the tree in front of your house, which I encourage you to do, you can contribute to the fund, which helps support the maintenance of our urban forest. So with that, I just want to, again, thank the mayor for his vision, thank Mohammed for his leadership, and congratulate the current and future generations of San Franciscans who are going to enjoy this great investment that we've made as a city. So thank you very much.
The next person I'm going to introduce, Astrid Hayati, is someone that I've had the privilege to work with and really has brought quite a number of new ideas and new designs and new concepts from her experiences in Chicago and her travels around the world. Astrid has definitely demonstrated and worked on many improvements on Market Street, some of our plazas, many of our intersections, and has joined the effort with all the city departments in continuing to beautify San Francisco. Please welcome Astrid Hayati.
Thank you, Mohammed, for a very lovely introduction. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your support for greening effort. And as you said, we're going to beautify the city, but we're going to go beyond beautification. We're going to make sure that we have a very informed decision making in terms of our environmental strategies. As an example, Mohammed had mentioned our recent improvement in Market Street, where PUC have worked with us in making sure we highlight drought-tolerant plant materials, including on the median right outside of Orpheum. We are going to continue to beautify the city, but as I mentioned earlier, we're going to go beyond beautification. We're going to make sure that we invest every single dollar and every single hours volunteers put in for the good of our environment. So I have the privilege to also highlight our partners here with us, especially for the Arbor Day. We have Department of Public Works, obviously, is a key component of this success. Friends of Urban Forests has been working with us and making sure that community actually supported us and care for these trees and environmental component in the long term. Recreation Parks Department and with Department of Environment leadership as well of Jared Blumenfeld. Thank you very much for your effort in open spaces as well. These part of a little triangle, it is in part of our open space in the city. We do also want to acknowledge Caltrans, Dan McCanhy, Chief Deputy District Director, who's here with us. Thank you for your help in actually making this particular site actually improve, and looking forward to work with you with more of the greening around the city. And Ed Harrington with the leadership from PUC, we work very closely in terms of making sure we invest and we promote our wastewater and water and power in terms of efficiency, and this is the way we can move forward together right on the ground of our public ways. And also SF Unified School District has been working with us for the Arbor Day, and which my partners here after me will speak a little bit about the campaign mentioned earlier. Presidio Trust, Port of San Francisco, the San Francisco International Airport also doing their part and working with their employees actually planting trees along the Bay Area. Housing Authority as well working with us in their area of development and existing property to make sure it's greened moving forward for our future generation. And I don't want to miss key components of our partners as well. San Francisco Parks Trust, Karen Kidwell, Executive Director. Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services, Mike Farrow, has been actually on the ground making sure our greening efforts actually reach every single San Franciscan. And SF Clean City Coalition has been working very hard and making sure our streets are clean and green. A public library has been actually advancing our awareness for our future generation as well as our patrons of the library. The Department of Children, Youth and their families in regards to their effort to making sure the children and the family at large are actually benefiting from this greening effort. And I want to also mention and acknowledge Susan Tolan from Academy of Art University, who will be working with us on actually the kind of a follow-up effort of tree planting, where we're going to have street banners designed by graphic artists and to actually speak about the environment in general, but urban forests. And during the summertime, very soon, we're going to have that adorn our major corridors and public spaces. At this time, I'd like to quickly introduce my colleagues from School District. Nicholas Kastner, who's Director of Sustainability, who's been working hand in hand with me to make sure not only just the city property on the public ways and the public land, but also schools around the city. And he'll be speaking with you in regards to the campaign, a marvelous campaign we're going to have. Nick, please.
Thank you, Astrid, for that wonderful introduction. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for supporting our campaign to plant 2,012 trees in and around our schools by 2012. We don't know if it's the beginning or the end of 2012. We'll let history decide that. But I want to thank our partners in this campaign. Besides the Mayor's office, Arden Buckland is here from the Green Schoolyard Alliance, which has been greening our schools for many, many years. So a big round of applause for her. And of course, Friends of the Urban Forest, represented by Doug Wildman. Friends of the Urban Forest is the premier organization for planting trees in the city, and we could not have this campaign without them. And maintaining them. And actually, Friends of the Urban Forest is providing us a discounted rate on these trees, and that will include not just the purchase of the trees, but their maintenance for the first 3 years, so that we can ensure that they last. So I'm really up here just to encourage you to visit our website, www.2012by2012, couldn't be any easier, .com. And there you'll have the opportunity to contribute to the campaign in any way that you see fit. You can designate a particular school if you'd like to see a tree there, or if you'd just like to see a tree in your neighborhood, or you'd like to let us decide, that is fine as well. I'm also really excited to announce that at the same time we're launching another website that will summarize all the efforts the school district has been going through, and that is www.greenthenextgeneration.com.
And you can read about everything from green cleaning to our clean diesel buses to recycling efforts and to the variety of things that schools are doing at a grassroots level. So we're really excited to be here. We're excited for the coverage of this wonderful campaign, and hopefully we'll make it 28,000 trees 3 years from now. Thank you.
I now have the pleasure of asking a good friend of mine who I've known for many years, who I see in the crowd, Jared Blumenfeld from the Department of Environment and now with the Recreation and Parks Department, to say a few quick words.
So everyone always wants to know about the numbers of trees. So the last time we counted the number of trees in San Francisco, we had 700,000. Now we have 725,000 thanks to the mayor. And I think the mayor's point really can't be overemphasized. These are real trees that will grow into mature trees, not teeny trees that you will never notice for the next 15 years. So out of those trees, we have 125, now 150 street trees. We have 100,000 trees in our parks. And the rest of the trees, 450,000 trees, is what I'm going to spend 1 minute talking about, which are the trees in your backyard. So we all have trees. The majority of trees are the ones that we as San Francisco residents, we as San Francisco businesses maintain, and we need to plant more of those. Those are things that we can do. This is Arbor Day, so these guys have done the work. The mayor every year say, you're going to do it. I remember when the mayor first said it, everyone thought he was completely crazy. How are we ever going to get 25,000 trees? We've only been doing 500 trees a year. I mean, literally people thought the mayor was crazy. Today, his craziness proved to be smart. We could do it, but we can also do it at home and in our business. So we need to take that step, and we hopefully can plant native trees. This is a great tree, it will survive here. But so my tip of the day is everyone can go home. You can actually go to Rec and Park, to our nurseries. Even in the park we have a nursery that only sells native plants, and buy a coast live oak, one of our great trees of our city, and plant one in your garden today. Thank you.
Well done. Okay, thank you. Every year when we kick off Arbor Day, we always dedicate the ceremonial tree to someone very special. And this year, I'm going to ask Kathy Dracup and Dr. Mitch Katz to come up and talk a little bit about the dedication of today's tree. The person was selected, as the mayor said, primarily because of this person took care of so many people. And you will hear from them some of the work that this person has done. But the challenge, as I said earlier, continues. We have to look after these very, very important assets that we have now invested in. And I'm counting on everyone to help us in getting and maintaining these trees. Please welcome Dr. Katz and Kathy Dracup, who is the Director or Dean of the University of San Francisco.
Kathy, come up, you start.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here. You heard from Mayor Newsom that trees soften the sharp edges of the city, and that this particular tree is being planted in a very difficult junction of the city. I don't think there's a better description of Ellen Wolf. That this is really what Dr. Wolf did in her life as a nurse, working with children who often were embattled, who were battered, who were in very difficult personal circumstances, and she dedicated her life to them. She passed away last fall at a relatively young age, much to our sadness. She was an alumni of the UCSF School of Nursing and an assistant clinical faculty member there, where she inspired and guided the next generation of nurses who were going to be working with pediatric populations. She also was the director, and you will hear much more from Mitch Katz, about the children's medical services for the city and county of San Francisco. And in that role, she was highly respected as a nurse and a doctor of public health. She was incredibly well loved, a celebrated figure both at UCSF and at San Francisco General Hospital, as well as the General City. She was a tireless advocate for children's access to healthcare services. She dedicated her efforts toward improving the lives of underserved children and their families. To honor the memory of Dr. Wolf, her family, her mother, brothers, and sister, have established the Dr. Ellen Wolf Endowed Memorial Scholarship Fund in the UCSF School of Nursing. And they asked me, because they were at the memorial last week, to please convey their feelings to you of appreciation for having selected her for this honor. The scholarship is a wonderful tribute to her memory. It will provide scholarships in perpetuity for nurses who show exceptional academic promise and who demonstrate dedication to improving the lives of children. Gifts can be made in support, and you just have to go on the UCSF website if you're interested in doing that. But the extraordinary generosity of Ellen's family will help us continue her esteemed legacy for generations. Thank you.
That's so nice, Kathleen. Thank you
you.
so much.
Good to see you.
So lucky in San Francisco to have an amazing school of nursing and such an amazing nursing leader. Thank you, Kathy, for being here. I'm Mitch Katz. I'm the director of the Department of Public Health. And Ellen was our longtime advocate for children, our advocate for constantly being the best we can possibly be in every way. Certainly, she watched out for the children of San Francisco, the children who were in the most challenging circumstances. She taught us a lot. I see Twyla Brown, our terrific MCH director here, and a lot of what Ellen helped to catalyze in our department, Twyla now runs so capably. People know her as an advocate for children. She was also, Mr. Mayor, for a program that I know was particularly important to you, Treatment on Demand. Ellen was the advocate for women, women with children, to say this is an unmet need. You know, these programs were created for middle-aged men, not for young women with children. And we need a whole new generation of programs. And without her, I don't think that would have happened. So I harken back to what Muhammad was saying, how we all have to take care of trees. What a great tribute for this tree to be planted in Ellen's memory, because she took care of all of us. And she took care of all of the children. And so now we can take care of this tree as our way of remembering her. Thank you for being part of this.
Yeah. No, and we have a proclamation just to sort of anchor a lot of the comments that were just stated. And only reason I'm smiling, I'm trying to figure out how best to frame this, because it's technically Dr. Ellen Wolf Day, but it's Ellen Wolf Tree Day in the city and county of San Francisco. It sounds a little strange, Tree Day, but it is on behalf of the spirit and pride that all of us have in Ellen's extraordinary work and legacy. Officially today will ever be forever known in her honor, and this living honor you see behind me we will plant in just a moment. So thank you all very much on behalf of Ellen and Ellen's family for being out here.
Okay. Next speaker, last speaker, who will also be leading us to the tree for planting ceremony, is Mr. Ed Harrington, who, when this ambitious goal was set, was our city controller, and now is the general manager of the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission that actually paid for the majority of the improvements that are happening here, the road work and everything. So please welcome Ed Harrington.
Thank you, Mohammed. And just very briefly, this tree is wonderful. All trees require care. They also require water. California will always need to be spending their water assets wisely, and so when you plant your trees in your backyard, remember you can water them by putting a bucket in your shower, and you can go back outside and water them that way. And mature trees don't need that much water typically, and so when you're planting all these trees, remember also you live in California and you want to take care of your trees and all your irrigation in a water-wise fashion. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you. So if everyone would follow Ed and the mayor and grab a shovel, the guest, Gerald, Kathy, Mitch.
Let's get some shovel. This is a shovel-ready project, right?
Shovel-ready, yeah. Shovel-ready.
Stimulus.
Get some soil.
Let's get some soil, everyone, then we'll come around.
There you go.
Okay.
Symbolic now.
After the count of 3.
We got one more shovel. Come on over there.
Everybody got a little dirt and shovel. After the count of 3. All right.
Ready? Go for it, Muhammad.
1, 2, 3. Yeah! All right.
Well done.
All right. Here we go.
All right. We're going to climb in.
Thank you very much.
He knows to stand on the shovel.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Good job.
Good job.
Yeah, we're done. Thank you. After all
But you got to finish this.
Yes, well.
Now, these guys have to get it.
Anybody
all
want to
done.
join? Amy,
Yes.
start from the night.
Get working. Get working.
Copy that, Cole.
I appreciate that. That's good. That's good. Don't let them leave until it's done. That's the only requirement.
Seal that work.
The whole thing. Thank you guys.
I don't think we want to deal with that.
Trying to get a picture, but I'm going to close. Evan. What's that?
Judy，就是还要这些什么板啊？
Oh, good. There you go.